All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Let's see if anybody's in the chat already. All right, let's wait for a couple of seconds to get our folks going. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Where is everybody this morning? Everybody still sleeping? It's time to rise and shine, people. Time to rise and shine. Time to rise and shine, people. Where are you guys this morning? Good morning to Virgil. Hey, how you doing? Top of the morning to you. Good morning. Good morning to Daryl. Time to rise and shine, guys. Big things are happening in the world around you. I missed so much on the weekend, and that's because I really don't. I don't use my phones Saturdays. Anything from Friday onwards, I tend to give it a rest. You have to take a rest. You have to take a break. Um, I believe in observing the laws of health. I believe in observing the biblical Sabbath. And so when there is a sunset at Friday evening, that's it for me. I don't do anything else. I throw away the phone. I don't want to be caught up with the world. There's so many things happening. There's so much things going on at the moment that if you really pay attention, you're actually gonna burn yourself out. So I just allow myself to not be caught up when Friday evening comes, right up to Saturday, sometimes even down to Sunday morning. So that's how it works. But when I got up, when I put on the phone yesterday evening, probably around 7 o'clock time, at least back into WhatsApp and those things, there's so much messages that I got. It was like really, really overwhelming. A lot of messages. I didn't know I was missing so much things were happening. One of the first things I saw was that there was some information being put out that Al Qaeda could be attacking U.S. cities in the coming days. I saw that Russia was testing NATO with warplane incursions in different countries in NATO. I see the Chinese oil giants are actually the lead interest in Trinidad deep water blocks. I don't know how that is going to work out with Trinidad and the Americans, but I see the Chinese companies are bidding hell hard for those oil blocks being put up by Trinidad and Tobago. What's going on? If you're living down there, let me know, because that is something that is quite interesting. How is Trinidad and Tobago going to deal with that? I don't know. But anyway, that is something that is most interesting. So I understand that Trump is now warning Venezuela that they will pay an incalculable price. Incalculable price. And that means you can't calculate it. You don't know the extent of it, because if you can't calculate something, you won't know the extent, the value, the total of it. So he's telling Venezuela, what I'm about to do to you, nobody will be able to calculate it. The damage that the US will want to do to you, nobody will be able to calculate the damage. So the war is on. I reached out to a number of Caribbean high officials, whether it be in government or whether it be, like in offices like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for different countries. And it appears that everybody, and I mean everybody, is not taking this serious. everybody thinks it's going to be like a blow over and everything is just going to be fine. That is the word that I'm getting from people who I'm actually reaching out to, who are in offices that should know about these things. That is the answer that I am getting. So this is very worrying for me, that nobody's taking it serious, that they don't think that the US would actually invade Venezuela. But we've seen the false flags before, and we've seen what happens with the false flag. And I'll tell you why I know it's going to happen. The US has now recreated bases in Puerto Rico, bases that were closed down for at least 2 decades or so. They've reopened them, putting back communication in them, fixing up the runways properly, the towers and stuff like that, landing their aircraft there. So they're getting ready to do an invasion. But it's really, really interesting to know that nobody in the Caribbean, when I say nobody, I'm talking about like the Caribbean governments. I'm talking about the governments around the Caribbean, people who should be alerting the population. Nobody's actually doing it. Nobody's saying anything really. We've seen a few clips, a few comments from the leaders, several leaders from several islands saying, look, we want peace. We don't want any fomentation of war in the Caribbean. But as far as to say that they're letting the public know that this can be done and that can be done, nobody is doing that. As a matter of fact, how many persons in this Caribbean are actually preparing for anything? Like, are they putting up any grains? Are they putting aside stocking certain food stuff that non-perishable items, just like when you prepare for a hurricane? When I speak to people around the Caribbean, people who I know, they're saying to me, those who I know are preppers. They would say, yeah, I'm doing stuff because we just don't know. And based on the information we're getting out of the United States of America, something is going down. This week here, for sure, it appears that something is in the offing to go down this week. If not this week, by the end of the week. So that is something that people really should be prepared for. And I don't like to have people just there. People don't know what's going on. That's why I come here all the time and I try to educate people. Because if you don't, listen to me, this thing is gonna get out of hand. I'm telling you, this thing's gonna get out of hand. Let me just say good morning to a couple of people that's on the live right now. Daryl, top of the morning to you. Ray Mitchell, Paradox, top of the morning to you. I said, yeah, Roger said they're cooking or something. Paradox says, morning, everybody. Let me say to Mariah Trucking Services. I hope I got that right. Mariah Trucking Services. Sometimes you say shalom. Do you follow Israelite ways? Virgil says, I remember China having interest in the oil blocks when PNM was in power. I'm not in Trinidad, and we don't want to what that's well, yeah, nobody wants that. We're not hearing anything if it wasn't for you. And somebody else says, which is Virgil says, I'm done starting to stock up. Listen to me. I'm not telling you to be in a frenzy, like to be in a frenzy and all panicking. Follow what's happening. Just know what's happening. Take the time out to study what's happening. Get information from your friends and families. If you have people in the US, this is very, very important for a lot of you guys. And just know, just don't pretend as if nothing is actually happening. You see this all the time, especially even when a storm is coming to the Caribbean. Governments wait to the last minute to say to you, hey, be prepared, be prepared. Don't make anybody have you like that. Trump is warning Venezuela that what he's going to do to them, nobody will be able to calculate the cost. And yesterday he says that he threatened Venezuela yesterday, basically war, consequences if the country does not immediately take back immigrants he described as prisoners and people from mental institutions that are in the US. He says, take them back, or what I'm going to do to you, right? But this is really, really bad. I noticed that they have a buildup, but something that came this morning was that Russia, I understand, is now basically arming Venezuela with the deadly KH-31 anti-ship missiles against U.S. Navy response in the Caribbean. So that is something. This is what they look like. If you've never seen them, this is what they look like. Russia is now arming Venezuela with this type of missile. They're anti-ship missiles. Actually, let me get it for you. They are KH-31 anti-ship missiles, and they're very, very deadly. Very, very, very deadly. So it's nothing that anybody should take lightly. They're very, very deadly. And now Russia is actually arming Venezuela with this type of weaponry. So I don't take these things lightly. Everybody right now is jockeying for power around the world. It's like we're living in this great matrix. Things are happening. I mean, don't get me wrong. The matrix may be good sometimes because you can't have people just running around in the world, just be doing anything they want to do. Police must be around because thieves just decide to go into somebody's house. So the matrix is fine in a way. As long as I'm not in it, I don't want to be in it. You shouldn't be in it. But the problem is that people are not taking this seriously enough. And I want my people to take it seriously. That's why I have these discussions with you from time to time. Some people say that it looks almost as if I like to foment stuff. I'm not fomenting anything. Education is necessary, and I hope people don't take anything serious. So Russia is now arming Venezuela with this type of weaponry, and they're actually in Venezuela's corner. So don't think that Venezuela is out there by itself. What I'm trying to do is to show people how deadly this thing can become. A lot of people think that I'm in support of Venezuela. I'm not supporting Venezuela. I'm not supporting the United States of America. I'm not supporting any kind of war. I'm anti-war. I always believe that discussions are the best way to go and dialogue is the best way to go. And for me personally, vengeance is not mankind own. Vengeance actually belongs to the Most High. Vengeance actually belongs to the Most High, not mankind. That's the problem that we are having. Dialogue is the best way to go. Wars are easy to start, very, very hard to end. So there we go. Now, that is what Trump is saying. And they have actually, from Washington side, they have actually deployed 7 warships. I'm reading this directly because I didn't get a chance to get in stuff. A nuclear-powered submarine, F-35 stealth fighters. And these are things that are being displayed off Venezuelan coast on a daily basis. They're backed by F-35 fighters, which have been sent to Puerto Rico. And if you know anything, it's actually the biggest contingent on naval deployment that the U.S. have actually deployed in the Caribbean in a very, very, very long time. So they're in for serious business. And that's why I tell people to prepare. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Let me go back in the chat here, see what's happening. Carmel says, we're not hearing anything. Okay. Arlene says, good morning to us. Roger said, I have rice, flour, oil, milk, toilet paper, canned foods. So people are preparing stuff as well. Listen, so that's where we are actually this morning with that one. So Venezuela is actually preparing. Look at this video. Just check this video. And really, people shouldn't be doing this. You know, when I went to Venezuela I had a chance to go there in 2018 or 2019. I think it's 2018. And I actually spoke with a lot of ladies, and they said that they would die for the homeland. And I actually couldn't believe that women were so interested in dying for their country more than the men. And look at this video, which one of them sent for me this morning. One of the same individuals, I didn't know that they had actually saved my number for so long. And they actually they said they usually watch a channel. And they sent this video this morning of women in Venezuela training with guns. Look at this. This is in Venezuela. Look at this. This is actually in Venezuela. Women training. Look. This is crazy. It's actually crazy. This women in Venezuela, they're actually training for war. They're holding guns. I'm telling you. Like I said to you, when I went to Venezuela in 2018 around, I think it was, I went for a conference they were having for journalists, and I went there. And I actually couldn't believe when I spoke to women, they were saying to me, listen, I would die for the homeland. I actually couldn't believe I thought they were just kidding or joking when they said they would do it. But they're actually training in Venezuela. And these are women. So People are taking this thing serious, and they decide to defend their home country. I don't think women should be at the forefront of war, but they do that. Look at what the Venezuelan army is actually doing now. Yesterday, they also sent me this video. You need to take a look at this video. They're actually training. That's inland and on sea. So they're dropping bombs. They're doing stuff. Look at what they're doing. So they're actually doing it. They're training in preparation for anything. So some people laugh at this, think it's a joke, or they laugh and say the US can take out that in a heartbeat. But the point is, these people are willing to die for what they believe in. I don't want war. I never listen to me. If there is war, it would not only be Venezuela in the war. It would not only be Venezuela affected, because, like I said to you, once a country gets in war, what people do is try to vacate that country. If they vacate Venezuela, they won't be running over into Colombia and those places. A lot of them would look to get out by sea, and they'll be going to the nearest countries available to them, either Trinidad. A lot of them are already in Guyana, whether it be in Grenada, St. Vincent. And that's one of the things when I spoke to one of the prime ministers in this Caribbean here, they said to me that they're worried that people would start coming up the island chain to little islands, putting more pressure on these countries. And it's something that they're worried, at least that one prime minister is very worried about, that if war actually is to break out, people are going to be heading up this side, coming up in these islands. And once they come up to these islands, they're going to put pressure on us. And that's a problem. We're living in these islands, they're going to put pressure on us. That is where the problem is going to come from. So don't think that because America may be involved in a war with Venezuela, that you won't feel the pressure. You're actually going to feel the pressure in these islands. It's not a joke show. It's not a joke show. You and I would feel it in these islands. And the closer you are to what is happening, the worse it will be. So I want people to prepare. I want people to be serious and to get to know what's happening. Listen, yeah. US lost to the Taliban and they still joke. Listen, I'm going to tell you something about that very soon. Yesterday, I saw that Trump was really threatening to go into Afghanistan again. I actually believe that they're creating a false flag to go into Afghanistan. I believe they're creating a false flag to go into Afghanistan. They said that if they do not get back Bagram Air Force Base, they would take it back, basically. They want it back. That's in Afghanistan because the Chinese are very close, right? They're inside that region. So basically, they want to ensure their dominance again in that region. I believe they're creating a false flag to go inside there. And so this morning, I saw Laura Loma, who is a Mossad asset, saying this on Twitter. Let me see if I can get that information for you up on the screen. Here it is. She said, must read. U.S. intelligence alert. NCTC confirms confirms Al-Qaeda presence on U.S. soil. Imminent multi-city Islamic terror attacks. Listen, this was the month that I got the information when I keep saying that there will be something going down in the United States of America. I spoke about this about 6 months ago, actually. The information I got. So I knew something would go down this year. But after the exact date, I had no idea when that would take place. So sources tell me tonight that the National Counterterrorism Center has officially determined that Islamic terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda have infiltrated U.S. soil and are actively planning a series of coordinated Islamic terror attacks. This marks the first time federal counterterrorism officials have openly acknowledged the immediacy of such threats, signaling a potential escalation in domestic jihadist activity not seen since the height of ISIS-inspired plots in mid-2010. Listen to me. Al-Qaeda was created by the US. ISIS fomented by the US. It's just it's just crazy. But she's a Mossad agent, and so or she's a Mossad asset. So when you hear these things, know that something is in the works. It could be a false flag event for some invasion into another country, but just know that Trump has already signaled that he wants Bagram Air Force Base, which is in Afghanistan. So when I saw this, I said, aha, they're fomenting it. Let me see who's in the chat this morning. Let me say good morning to Karen Bell, Slimy Sub. I'm looking for my trolls this morning, but I actually am not seeing the trolls this morning. I'm looking for Caribbean. What's his name? Caribbean what? Caribbean Man? I can't remember what. Caribbean Soul or something like that. Yeah, I'm looking for him, and there was another one, but I can't find them. How you going to get past the fast attack submarine? And if they say one is here, I want to let you know that I'm getting the information today as well. I'm trying to get the information. Or at least they say that they will send it to me today. I have a lot of friends, a lot of people watch this channel that's in intelligence community. I'm going to tell you something. Don't think for one moment that China and Russia do not have submarines, nuclear powered submarines floating around in our region. They're actually going to send the information to me, the mapping, undersea mapping, where these things are actually located right now. You would be surprised the kind of things that are floating around in this Caribbean waters that you don't know about. Most of you are sleeping at night. A lot of things happen in the night. A lot of you don't know what's going on in this region. Slimy, how are you doing this morning, man? Top of the morning to you. Yeah, Venezuela have a lot of firepower for a country that size. Let's see, pure false flag. Yeah, I hope they're just false flag events. We're not ready for what is coming. That's according to McFarlane. Joel Brown says pure false flag. Yeah, let's hope that's what they are. Yeah, Peter Hill actually asks, how are you going to get past the fast attack submarine? And if they say one is there. Listen to me. I'm trying to get this expert, this guy. He's popular on Facebook, on YouTube. Actually, he was an ex-Marine in the US. I'm trying to get him to come on the program to give us a detailed breakdown of some of these things that you want answers for. It's going to be a good one. I'm trying very, very hard to get him. He looked at my show a number of times. He actually sent a message to me. And I'm so back and forth in conversations with him. He's a very, very busy person. To get him to come on the program, so we're trying to organize when and which day. And he's going to give you a lot of information that I think would be eye-opening to you. A lot of people who I really did not expect to is actually watching this channel, and they're very, I would say, what they would put to me as impressed with the kind of information that I usually put out. It's not easy to do what I'm doing, they would say to me. You have to have a lot of, as they say, belly, guts. So, Ruben from Venezuela, could you actually come on the program? Would you be able to? I'm trying to get somebody from Venezuela. Would you be able to call me via WhatsApp? Call this very same number. Could you call me via WhatsApp, or could you click on the link that I have at the top of the comment section and come onto my live? I would like to speak to you. Really would like to speak to you. From Venezuela. Ruben is actually from Venezuela. I'm trying to speak with him right now as I talk to you guys. Ruben, could you actually call me via WhatsApp? Could you call me via WhatsApp, please? I'd like to have you on the program as quick as possible. So Ruben usually calls me, and I'm trying to get in touch with him right now. So if you could call me via WhatsApp, that would be really good. And so I could let you guys, hear what's happening down there in Venezuela. I'm not sure if let me see if I could actually get him myself, because I may have to actually call him. I may actually have to call him myself. Let me see if I could call him. Let me see if I could reach out to him. Yeah, I'm trying to call him right now, guys. I'm trying to call him.
Hello.
Hi, Ruben. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I read aren't you in a show right now?
Yeah, I'm actually live. I would like to have you on the air.
Oh my God! All right, sure. Okay, go. Should I turn on my camera or something?
Okay, so what I want you to do, right?
Okay.
Are you watching me on YouTube?
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, I had it on pause. Let me put it again.
Right.
See,
So
okay, okay.
here's what I want you to do, right? If you go to
Okay.
the comments section in this live, you will see I pinned a link to the top of the chat section there. A link. I pinned the link there. If you click on that link,
To be
you
on.
if you
I
click on
got it.
yeah, you'll be able to come in live. You'll be able to come in live on the show with me if you do that.
Yeah, I'm already doing that.
Right. So go ahead and I'll wait for you. Okay. Thanks.
Allow me. Okay, yeah, here I am.
Right.
Oh my God.
So I'll have to take you off of the WhatsApp so you can get the phone to use. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So just click on the link, follow the instructions, and come right in. All right. Okay.
Yes, I
Okay.
will.
Okay.
I will.
All right. So that's somebody right out of Venezuela. I'm trying to get them live on the program to talk to you to let you know what's happening on the ground. That would be good information for those of you who are not living in Venezuela. Also, what I want you to do, those of you who wish to come on the program itself, you can actually come onto the program too. There's a link that I pinned. I have it at the top of the chat if you want to come on to speak to something. I think somebody just actually came in there. Okay, that looks like my good friend there from Venezuela. Let me see if I could get him on the program. All right, Ruben, you're in with me.
Yes, I am.
Good, good. How is it? How is it in Venezuela right now? Which area in Venezuela are you actually from?
Hold on, because I still have your also. Okay, I am in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela.
So also you're in Caracas. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
I
Good.
am about 2 blocks from PDVSA Oil Company headquarters.
Ah, excellent, excellent. So let me ask you a question. What is the atmosphere like in Venezuela right now? Well, you're in Caracas. Tell me what is it like in Caracas specifically. What is the
Well,
atmosphere like?
the atmosphere in Caracas is
Mhm.
quite normal.
Right.
At least in the area where I am, like I really haven't seen anything, but I know there have been in several areas that I know very well of the city. And
Mhm.
yesterday there was a deployment of military personnel and government politicians
Yeah.
for this merging of military and civilian forces. But in general, people are realizing that this is a joke and nothing will really happen. And people go to the beach.
Yeah.
Uh, it's quite normal. I mean, we were very scared at the beginning, but now, and especially that Donald Trump now, all he wants is to deport people from the United States,
Yeah.
which came there illegally. It seems that dialogue will prevail with
Mhm.
Richard Grenell eventually.
But that is what I have been saying for a long time. That I prefer dialogue than to have war. And I think that's the best course of action actually in any circumstance. Dialogue as long as possible. War is never good because I say to people all the time, wars are easy to start, but they're very hard to finish. And
Well,
it's not only the region where the war is taking place, people suffer outside of that region as well because of the war. So war is never good, but go right ahead. Yeah.
Well, well, today is the 21st
Yeah.
of September, the
Hmm.
International Day of Peace,
Yeah.
and the United Nations Assembly will start this week.
Yeah.
And the main topic will be Palestine, and I am actually thrilled that Canada,
Yeah.
United Kingdom, France, and Australia are joining Palestine, and
Yeah.
countries like St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Venezuela have long supported Palestine.
Yep.
So actually, we're getting new allies. So I would like to take this opportunity to invite the populations and governments of Canada, France, United Kingdom, and
Mhm.
Australia. There are probably more, but I don't remember which ones.
Yeah.
Join Venezuela and St. Vincent and the Grenadines and others that you sometimes consider your enemies
Yep.
even Iran, because we all want a free Palestine and we want Netanyahu to stop from Israel. That should be the focus, because it seems that the Venezuela situation is fortunately being solved. I guess the military ships will be wandering around for a while
For a
more
while. Yeah.
until it becomes expensive and they are just pulled back to the States.
But okay, but we heard we saw different news items that the Venezuelan military, was preparing. They were doing training.
Of course.
Maduro had asked for civilians to join the militia and stuff like that. That actually happened, right?
Yes, it's happening. I personally support that because you never know. You never
Yeah,
know. We would not like this to become Vietnam, but
yeah.
this will become like Vietnam if they decide to shoot. Apparently, it seems that
Hmm.
there is another glimpse of hope that I have. You remember there have been shootings of boats. The
Yes,
last shooting, they did not mention Venezuela. They just said a shooting of a boat in international waters, and Venezuela was not mentioned this time.
that's very interesting, isn't it?
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. That's why I keep seeing a lot of false flag are coming up all over the place. Look, listen, they what I want to get. Okay, so Venezuela is actually residents. Maduro people to join the militia, prepare. We saw the news and stuff like that. So you're saying to me, people in Caracas are going about their daily lives normally. They're not panicking. They're not overdoing it. What is this all about, really? Is this really about drugs? Because all of the reports that I've read, yeah.
No,
What is
this
it about,
is
really? What is it about?
this is about the political
Yeah,
situation that it seems that Edmundo Gonzalez won the elections last year,
yeah.
but the opposition leadership
Mhm.
did not apply a good scheme for getting President Edmundo in power.
Right.
Instead of fighting in Venezuelan jurisdiction, they only went to the international community and presented the voting results, and nothing was really done at the local level with the electoral council and the Tribunal Supreme of Justice.
Yeah.
And also, Article 231 of Venezuelan Constitution
Hmm.
provides that president-elect should be sworn in office on January 10th.
Yeah.
Edmundo Gonzalez could have done that at a Venezuelan embassy in Washington or the Dominican Republic or Argentina. Well, maybe not Dominican Republic because that embassy is occupied by the Maduro government. But in
Right.
Argentina, we also have an embassy which doesn't have an ambassador.
Okay.
Edmundo could have a little bit like Juan Guaido did,
Hmm.
but Juan Guaido was sworn uh, in the streets. But
Yeah.
Edmundo could have done it in a Venezuelan embassy on the day that he was supposed to, and then we could have a strong diplomatic effort in support of the opposition. But Edmundo failed to. There are people who say that he couldn't, but many lawyers in Venezuela said that Edmundo had the right to be
Hmm.
sworn in on January 10th, and he didn't. He just stayed in a hotel room and now he's only in Madrid, and now he's
And
delegating
you
everything to Maria Corina Machado, so it's not making any sense.
but you
For
mean
me, that
sworn?
battle is lost.
When you say sworn in, you mean sworn in as the opposition leader,
No, as president of
as
Venezuela.
president of Venezuela.
Yes, yes, we could have two presidents. President Maduro as de facto president
Uh
and
huh.
President Edmundo Gonzalez as constitutional president
But that,
sworn in
but that's,
at the embassy, but he didn't do it. He had
but,
that
let
opportunity
me,
and he
but let
failed
me,
to use it.
but let me ask you a question. Your country, you said, can have two presidents at one time.
Well, that already happened during Guaido, didn't it?
Well, the international arena, the international were backing Guaido as the president. But I was just wondering because it sounded a bit weird to me. I was just really wondering. But anyway, but let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. The issue of drugs, right? The issue of drugs
Okay,
and Venezuela.
okay.
Be honest with me. What is your take on this drug situation in Venezuela? Is Venezuela really the what you call the hotbed of drugs from South America?
No, not at all. I've lived in the United States during my youth,
Yeah,
and I remember the drug use in United States colleges and universities and on the street,
right.
and now it seems worse. The inner cities, we don't have that situation. Of course, there is usage of drugs in
Yes.
Venezuela in parties, but it's
Anywhere you
a
go.
minority, yes.
Yeah.
And for drug trafficking,
Mhm.
it usually came from Colombia.
Right.
But no, Venezuela is not an epicenter, and there are European Community and United Nations documents
Yeah, that's
support
correct.
that
That's
vision.
correct.
I think Maduro has many times pointed out to those statistics from the international community, but the
Mhm.
United States needs the narrative of Mario Diaz Balart and Maria Elvira Salazar and all those
So,
people.
so question: who up? So who runs Trendiaragua and who runs the cartel of the Suns that they're talking about? Where are these gangs from, really? Are
I
they from?
don't think Tren de Aragua or Cartel de los Soles exists.
You don't think so?
I mean, what are they? What are their?
But
Is there any information on them?
on every
What is the
Western
information
listen, listen,
about
listen,
them?
listen to me. On every Western media you can find, whether it be CNN, I mean, we know the Western media, we know the propaganda machines around. But what I'm saying, on
Mm-hmm.
every media from the US, you hear about Tren Aragua. And the last immigration raids going on in the US, you keep hearing about these gangs are in the US. They're from Venezuela. That's what they're saying. You hear about cartel of the Sun, whatever you want to call it. They're saying that Maduro is the head of that cartel, and that's why they indicted him in the New York court. But are these gangs really out of Venezuela? Or are they from Latin America in general? Where are they from?
Okay, let's imagine we were in 1991 and
Yeah,
this platform existed, and
yeah.
you're interviewing some Iraqi in Iraq asking about
Hmm.
weapons of mass
Mass
destruction,
destruction. Yes.
and they say, I don't know. I mean, what are you talking about? It's exactly the same answer. It's just an invented narrative.
The inventive narrative.
No,
Okay.
completely. I mean, the, the I mean, the real cartels that you know
Yeah.
are Sinaloa and Chapo and Pablo
Mexico.
Escobar in
Yeah.
Colombia many years ago. I mean, the usual cartels you know that actually. What are the transactions of Tren de Aragua or the transactions of Cartel de los Soles?
Some people think that they're messaging me and they think that you are a fan of the US and not really Venezuela. Some people think that you are a fan of the US and not really Venezuela. You don't support Venezuela.
Well, I because I did live in the United States. I lived in Florida. I
Uh-huh.
lived in New York. I
Yeah.
have visited California. I know very well the United. I was educated in the United States, but I have come back to Venezuela for decades, and I am
Oh, okay.
Venezuelan, and I don't think there is any way I could go back to the United States. I would probably be stopped at the airport for some reason. I mean,
Do you think that the oil is the cause of the problem? The
of
oil?
course,
That's just it.
yes,
That is the main problem.
definitely.
That's the major
Oh
problem.
yes, yes,
Let me
and
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What was Caracas like in say in the 80s? Andres Perez, those people back in the day when he was president. I think it was Andres Perez. He was
well,
called.
I was a child in the
But
'80s,
yeah. But,
and
but what was it?
Caracas was
Uh-huh.
a very developed city.
Yeah.
And I remember many people from the Caribbean came for medical tourism in our clinics.
Yeah.
And well, then uh,
So basically, back in the 80s and 90s, Venezuela was like somebody told me Caracas was like a little Manhattan, and from the moment Chavez came in and said, "Look, we can't have this happening," it seemed like everything went downhill for Venezuela. Like the Americans just got upset and everything went downhill from there.
well, yes, I think many, because the Chavez government started nationalizing many things. In a way, I think Maduro's government is better than Chavez government. Every time I say this here, people want to slap me on the face, but I still think that. I think, however, Chavez did something very good, which is the union with the Caribbean countries. And so, all governments have their good things and their bad things. But in general, our military has been prepared during all these years for this. And I am actually thankful to them that Venezuela has a strong military to resist, because United States invasion just for taking by force the oil industry, that cannot be allowed. I think we should have a common energy infrastructure, that including Guyana, including Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, as a
Yeah,
Caribbean
As the Caribbean,
comprehensive,
right,
and
right,
Cuba also has petroleum north of
correct,
Varadero.
correct, correct.
Yes,
But
there are
let me
many countries in the Caribbean that should unite for our petroleum industry.
But let me ask you a question. If the Americans were actually to invade Venezuela, if they actually did it, um, what do you think could be the outcome in terms of
Vietnam, Gaza, Libya, something horrible
so
during years.
it could be a continuous battle for a good while.
Oh, of course it will be continuous. Didn't you see all the deployment provided to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
military arms to
Actually,
the population?
I actually saw
We
that.
will resist.
But let me ask you a question. But do you think, because in war, they're saying that the countries that have been attacked, if any other country is allowing the attacker to use their land to invade you, in war, it is fair that you can actually invade that country as well. So if America was to invade Venezuela using Trinidad as a proxy to do it, or even using Guyana as landmass to do it, Venezuela would have a right to invade these countries as well, right? Based on is that what I am hearing from Caracas? I think I heard President Maduro said that.
Well, yes, the thing with Guyana is an issue. And you
Yeah,
have probably seen, because there are many Guyanese people who write in the comments, and then when I tell them the Venezuelan side of the Essequibo,
yeah.
it seems that it becomes a nightmare, that there can be no dialogue possible. That has been the Venezuelan situation. All
Oh,
Venezuela
very.
wants to
Yeah,
do is to dialogue about the Essequibo with Guyana. We really don't want any war.
I real.
And,
But
and that's a distraction. The Essequibo dispute right now is a
yeah,
distraction. That
yeah.
should be a
It is.
secondary item right now.
It is. It is. But do you think if the U.S. invades Venezuela, that Russia or China, who is an ally, would get involved in such a war?
They are already involved. Venezuela signed major treaty with Russia during the last few days,
Mm-hmm.
and it's political, military, strategic. Russia has signed that kind of treaty only with Iran,
Uh huh.
North Korea, and China, and now Venezuela. Not even Cuba has this kind of treaty with Russia right now. Venezuela is more of an ally to Russia than
Russia.
Cuba ever was now.
Okay.
Yes, and China uh, has been providing us very uh, advanced, what's their name? J-10C jets that could fight the F-35s.
That
China is an
China,
interesting country because they
that's
also
from
have,
China. That's from China. You said right? That's from China.
yes, and
Okay.
China has uh, an interest in Stabroek oil fields in Guyana. And
I
the
realize
problem
that.
with Stabroek is that the westernmost parts of Stabroek are
Mhm.
in waters that Venezuela claims as Venezuelan because they are an extension of the. Because another problem we have with the Essequibo dispute is that the sea borders have never been delimited because
Correct.
as the land borders are disputed, the maritime extension has not been. But anyway, China has interests in both countries.
But if Venezuela and Guyana were to have, say, let's just say this is just hypothetical, they decide, look, we don't want any outside interference in this matter between Guyana and Venezuela anymore in terms of the Essequibo, and both countries decide to sit down at the table and say, look, we are close, we're neighbor, we've been living here for years. Let's share the oil wealth in the Essequibo. Do you think that would
Of
be something?
course,
Do you think that would be
of
something better for each country?
well, yes. I am during my free time. I
Yeah,
am actually conceiving a plan for that. Essequibo has regions.
yeah,
Region number two is called Pomerum Supenam, and the
mhm.
capital is Ana Regina. That
Right.
would be an ideal place to build a brand new petroleum refinery that
Mhm.
could process oil from Stabroek in Guyana and oil from the Orinoco Belt in
In Venezuela.
Venezuela. And that would lead to pipelines and roads connecting
Right. So
also
what
to
I'm
Suriname and French Guyana. We
so
really need more integration, not separation.
but that is
Venezuelans need
what
to learn
but
English and Guyanese need to learn Spanish.
that is what I was trying to put to a Caribbean leader who actually tried to, they had a meeting here in St. Vincent some year ago when they tried to bring Guyana and Venezuela together to
Yes.
talk. So I was trying to put to these leaders, and I spoke with two of them, and I said, but why is it that you guys don't get these guys to come together? I'm talking about Maduro and Ali, work out an economic plan where they both can share the wealth of the Essequibo. And in return for that, Guyana controls keep control of what it has in terms of its landmass, right? So in terms of the landmass, Guyana controls the landmass till it's Guyana's own. But what I'm saying, put an economic plan in place where both Guyana and Venezuela can share the wealth of the Essequibo.
Of
That's
course,
what I,
we need
and
joint
I,
ventures.
and for that, all issues are done. We finish with this whole nonsense. We keep the borders, we share the wealth. That's the end of the story.
Well,
I am
Trinidad and Tobago must be involved too, because I am seeing with great concern that Trinidad
Yeah,
and Tobago
yeah,
is not having great relationship with Guyana either. I mean, yes, they have the rhetoric that they will support Guyana if there is a Venezuelan invasion, but there are oil issues between them, and that shouldn't happen either. And Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago have
yeah.
always worked very well with the Shell, Dragon, and Plataforma del Tana gas fields, and Guyana should also participate in that. I mean, the three countries should unite, and perhaps Grenada, which is
Yeah.
close by also. But I don't know much about Grenada, but I've heard that Grenada also has some
Yes,
underwater
they have some blocks they're
resources.
looking to explore right now. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we
All right.
definitely do. In,
Well,
in, in that respect, even though I never supported
yeah,
Chavez.
yeah.
Now that he's dead, I recognize that Alba and CARICOM
Hmm.
are very useful legacies from Hugo Chavez, and I I support that.
Okay.
And I am glad that there is like this conversation you and I are having right now. Somehow, is a result of that union of the Caribbean.
Okay. Well, Ruben, thanks a lot for coming on. We're going to round up right now. So thanks a lot for coming on. I am going to keep in touch with you so that we could have you back on the program again. And I'll inform you next time when I'm doing it so you could come on as early as possible. But thanks a lot. Really appreciate the
I, I
information.
I have a final comment
Go
to
ahead.
your
Go ahead.
viewers that say that I am pro US,
Yeah.
and well, I am pro Venezuela,
Yes.
uh, but I want the US to do well, and the
Yeah.
US is making decisions that are not suitable for the rest of the world, and that's why you have the other countries going
Yeah.
against the US.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot,
Okay,
Ruben. Really
you're
appreciate.
welcome.
All right. Thanks a lot for coming on. Okay, so that was our guest out of Venezuela, our good friend Ruben. I want to thank him for coming on the program this morning. I want to respond to a comment I saw. I think it's from someone called Kishan Ali. Dear, he says, well, he said, dear Don's host of this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this Don's host. That's number one. Really appreciate you watching and driving the algorithms. He says, Trinidad is a Commonwealth nation, so we have a security agreement with England. So we don't need the US to protect us because I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. The England really cannot even protect its own self right now. That's why they have a security arrangement with the US as well. The UK has opted out of nuclear arms and a lot of things a long time ago. If Russia were to basically say invade the UK right now, they're lost without the US help. I mean, done and dusted. So you depending on the UK, total waste of time. The UK can't even save itself right now. So they're the ones who made the comment. Go and learn that as well. All right, let me continue. Yeah, so guys, anybody else want to come in on the program, you can click on the link at the top of the comment section and you can get in and talk to me before I close off. Or if you want, you can call me actually on the WhatsApp. I can take your calls there if you're calling me. So the link is there. Get in on it before I close off. I want to say something. I saw this as well yesterday. Where is it? I think the guys have it here. Yeah. When Trump says that he was going into Afghanistan, if he don't give back Bagram Air Force Base, he would basically, blow a fuse again down there. If you look at what is happening there, that's from, yeah, the Afghanistan poppy cultivation down 95% into 2023. It's the lowest it has ever been. And this is coming from the United Nations, drug control office. They do these things every year and they look for information to put out on countries to see what it's like when it comes to drugs and stuff like that. And it's been the lowest since 2023. So when you hear them saying that Afghanistan is producing all the poppy and shit, sometimes you don't listen to them because their own data conflicts with what they say. These are some people who like to foment war. They love to foment war, and we have to be very, very careful with the Western media and how they go about doing what they do. They love to foment war. None of us love the war. None of us want war. And I will always advocate for no war, but the dialogue. That is something I will always advocate for. I'm going to say again to you guys who are watching this channel, prepare just in case. It's always good to prepare. It's never good to be like that. Yesterday, I saw they had a cyber attack up in Europe, and all of the airports, major airports in Europe, were down for a while because of the cyber attack. This was talked about since in late 2024, where they were talking about cyber attacks in Europe, in North America. So things are happening day after day by day. Guys, always prepare, have a backup plan. What are you going to do if communication goes down? We can't talk on YouTube anymore. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if the phone system goes down? Do you have a backup plan? For me, I am into ham radio. I'm into citizen band radio. All these things can work whether or not there's an internet. Nobody can stop these things. These things work with the natural environment. So for me personally, I have a backup plan for communication. For food, I store grains just in case you can't get food to buy for a while. And these things are not scaring anybody. These things are actually things that humans should be involved in once you live in a world like we have today. But this world that we have today, I'm going to do a specific video about the last crisis on this planet here. saying to you, this was all for a lot of people who don't like it. I say it all the time still, that this was actually foretold, that nations would rise against nations. So where you see China and Russia galvanizing support for each other and kind of inching away from the West, that was foretold. Where you see all these wars and rumors of war, these things were also foretold. So for me personally, I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm just saying that I prepared for things as they go along, right? But guys, I want to thank you all for coming on. I know it's a Sunday, and it's 12 o'clock now. A lot of you may want to go off and do your lunch. Thanks for joining the program. Let me just say, Duvale, top of the morning to you, Slimy, Bermudez, Miguel. Greetings from Caracas. Caracas is in the house again. Hurricane Writer, okay. Hurricane Writer said dealing with U.S. cooperation must be a strategic negotiation. The thing is that they want the lion's share of the resources. That's the problem with them. That is actually the problem with them. But thanks, guys, for coming on. Really appreciate you being with me today. I look forward to having you back on the program again another time when I go live. I think there should be some information which I would like to share with you guys, but that may be a video coming out later or tomorrow. But I really want to thank you guys for coming on. Remember to share the channel, because if you don't share the channel, if you don't share the videos, YouTube does not propagate them in the search, and we won't get enough people to join this community. It has become a wonderful community. A lot of people message me and thank me for the information I'm putting out. They don't believe that it is scaremongering. They think it's valuable information that they should have. And once I get the information, I will bring it to you. That's how it is. Some people are built for different things. Some are built to be doctors, some are built to be lawyers, some are teachers. This is what it is. And I will continue to disseminate the information to you once I have it. All right. And like I said, guys, whether you're from Guyana, Trinidad, Venezuela, wherever you're from, if you want to be on this program, if you wish to be on this program at any point in time, that's my number right there. That's the number for the show. You can message me. Let me know if you want to be on the program. If there's something that's bothering you and you want to talk about it, don't be afraid. This is what I want to create. I don't want to create a situation where I'm just talking to you. I want people to give real life experiences and real life talk. So I want people to come onto the program. So don't be afraid. Let me know, message me, let me know you want to be on the program. Don't be afraid if you have an issue you want to talk about, whether it be crime, drugs, some encouragement you want to give to somebody, anything you want to talk about, because it's actually for our edification. That's why I do the program. All right, message me, let me know, and I will get you on the program, especially when I go live. That's the best thing to do. All right, guys, take it easy. It's a Sunday. I know many of you want to go off and get your food done, your this done, your that done. Do what you have to do. See you on the next show. Share the live, comment, and subscribe. Take it easy, guys.